Hey, what's up guys, this is Vimal here and welcome back to TRHD. Today I've got an awesome PC build for y'all. I know y'all have been waiting very eagerly for this video. It's the Ryzen 7 2700X RGB PC build. Yes, we'll be using the brand new Ryzen 2nd Gen processor, and let me tell you, 2700X is a beast. And today I'm making an ultimate RGB PC build in a budget of around 1 lakh rupees. We are using all top of the line components from AMD, Asus and Cooler Master. I want to thank all of them for sending me these products for review. Alright, let me show you the components that we'll be using in today's build. So let's first start with the processor. This is AMD's brand new 2nd Gen Ryzen 7 CPU. The model is 2700X. It's an 8-core 16-thread processor, has a base clock frequency of 3.7 GHz and a max clock frequency of 4.3 GHz. And this processor comes with the all-new Wraith Prism cooler. This stock cooler comes with RGB lighting on it. How cool is that? Let me unbox it and take the CPU out. So here is the Ryzen 7 2700X. The packing looks very similar to the previous models. I'm super excited to see how it performs. And along with that, you get the heatsink fan pre-included in the box. Let me open it and show you. So here is the all-new Wraith Prism cooler. It's an RGB LED cooler. Looks quite nice. Has a big heatsink with direct contact heat pipes for improved thermal management. AMD has definitely stepped up their game here. And also guys, this cooler is exclusive and comes only with the Ryzen 7 2700X. The 2700X costs about 24,500 rupees. The motherboard I'll be using is the all-new Asus ROG Crosshair 7 Hero gaming motherboard. It has an AM4 socket and the brand new X470 chipset. It's made for the new Ryzen 2nd Gen processors and the Ryzen processors with Vega graphics. Supports Nvidia SLI, AMD Crossfire and also has Asus Aura Sync. Okay, let's unbox it and check out the motherboard. It's an awesome gaming motherboard. Has lots of features like one-click overclocking capabilities, Supreme FX audio, Aura Sync technology, and also has on-board Wi-Fi. So this is how the ROG Crosshair 7 Hero looks like. Beautiful motherboard. The graphics card I'll be using for today's build is Asus Strix GeForce GTX 1060 6GB model. It's an ultimate graphics card for 1080p gaming at ultra settings. Let me open it and show you. It comes in this sort of box packing. So here is the Strix GTX 1060. It's got a 0 dB triple fan wing blade design. The build quality is very good, has Aura RGB lighting on it, and is also VR ready. This is how the back looks like. It's got a beautiful ROG logo on the back. Coming to the RAM, I'll be using the G-Skill SniperX DDR4 RAM. They've got an awesome camouflage design on them. It looks really cool. They're compatible with the new Ryzen processors, and I've got 2 RAM sticks here, each of 8 gigs. So I'll be using a total of 16 gigs of RAM in today's build. For the storage, I'm going with only an SSD. This is Kingston's HyperX Fury 480GB SSD. It's a high performance entry-level SSD and has a good read and write speeds. It costs about 20,000 rupees. Actually, you don't need this big SSD. You can go with a 240GB SSD plus a 1TB hard disk and save around 10,000 rupees here. I'm using it because I don't have any other SSD right now. The power supply I'm using in this build is Cooler Master's MasterWatt 750. It's a semi-fanless modular 80+ bronze certified power supply. It's an excellent power supply for this build. Let me just take it out of the box and show you. So this is how the MasterWatt 750 looks like. And finally, coming to the case, I'm using Cooler Master's MasterBox MB500. This is such a beautiful RGB PC case guys. It's got 3 pre-installed RGB fans on it, 2 on the front, 1 on the back. You can completely control the RGB lighting. The build quality of the case is very good. You've got the Cooler Master logo on the front. It's made of metal, few parts of plastic, and has a tempered glass panel on the side. The front control panel is here at the top and has this nice magnetic mesh-like filter to prevent dust from entering into the cabinet. And this is how the tempered glass panel on it comes off. The cabinet is quite spacious. You can put in all your components very easily. So these were all the components we'll be using in today's build. Let's get started with the assembling. First, let's install the processor on the motherboard. We've got an AM4 socket here. Just pull the lever gently like this. You'll notice that there are no pins on the socket. That's because the pins will be present on the processor in the case of AMD chips. You need to be a bit careful here. Make sure you don't touch those delicate pins on the CPU. And before placing it on the socket, always check that you align the engraved triangle on the socket with the gold triangle on the CPU. After that's done, just pull down the lever and lock the CPU in its place. So that is how you install the CPU on the motherboard. Now let's install the SniperX RAM sticks. Just open the levers, check the direction and push the RAM until the lever locks itself. Let's also install the other one. And that's done. The installation of the Wraith Prism cooler was very easy. You just need to put it on top of the processor, fix the two metal hooks on the cooler to the mount plate on the motherboard, and after that, you need to lock the cooler in its place. For that, you've got a lever over here. You just need to push it hardly on the other side to fix the cooler firmly in its place. I didn't put any thermal paste on the CPU because the stock cooler already comes with the thermal paste applied on the contact surface. Now it's time to place the motherboard in the case. The MB500 is quite spacious. You can fit all kinds of motherboards like ATX, Micro ATX and also Mini ATX. So place your motherboard like this and align it with the screw holes on the cabinet. After that, fix the motherboard to the case with some screws. Just like this. We are halfway done with the build, guys. Let's install the graphics card on the motherboard. You need to install the graphics card in the PCIe slot closest to the CPU. Put the graphics card in the slot and gently push it to lock the GPU in its place. And the final step you need to do is install the power supply in the cabinet. Take the cables to the other side and slide the power supply in the bottom compartment and fix it to the case with the help of given screws. We are all done with the assembling part. The only thing that's left to do is connect all the power supply cables to the components. So here is our build, guys. I've connected all the cables. The Wraith Prism cooler looks very nice. Our GTX 1060 is here. Let me show you the SSD. I fixed the HyperX Fury to the cabinet like this and also connected all the RGB fans to the motherboard. Alright, let's power on our RGB build and check it out. So we've successfully built our Ryzen 7 2700X RGB PC build and holy smokes, it looks gorgeous. Look at those RGB fans! They look so awesome through the glass. The complete RGB lighting can be controlled with ASUS Aura Sync software. Let me remove the tempered glass panel and show you the beautiful RGB components. Just look at those parts, guys. This PC looks so gorgeous. Trust me, I'm totally in love with this build. And let me tell you about the cooler. AMD's Wraith Prism is literally the most beautiful stock cooler I've ever seen till now. I don't even need to tell anything. Just look at it. It looks like eye candy to me. I think this is my new favorite RGB PC of 2018. And this is the setup I'm using for today's Ryzen 7 2700X build. The monitor I'm using is LG 24MP88. It's a 1080p Infinity display monitor. The keyboard and the mouse I'm using are from Cooler Master. I'll just leave links to them in the description box. And the speakers are from FND. Now let's talk about the benchmarks. The Ryzen 7 2700X got a single core score of 4522 and a multi-core score of 23867. These benchmarks were done on the base clock frequency. Now imagine if I overclocked it to 4 or 4.3 GHz, the results will blow you away. It's an amazing processor for the price. Compared to the previous gen Ryzen processors, the newer 2nd gen Ryzen CPUs are 10 to 12% faster on an average. That's a huge improvement. Coming to the OpenCL score, we got about 1,35,949, which is as expected from the Strix GTX 1060. The 1060 paired with the Ryzen 7 2700X makes it an ultimate 1080p gaming machine. So let's move on to the gaming section and see how it performs. Let's start with GTA 5. I'm playing the game at 1080p max graphics settings. As you can see, everything is set to max. Alright, let's play the game and see how it performs. By the way, I'm using an Xbox 360 controller to play the game. I'm much used to playing games with these controllers only. So let's get going. I actually planned on making this build with the 1070 Ti, but for some reason it got delayed and didn't reach me on time. That's why I had to go with the 1060. GTX 1060 is also a good card. It's more than enough for playing games in 1080p at max graphics settings. The game feels buttery smooth. I was easily getting around 60 to 70 frames per second in GTA 5 at stock settings. I didn't even overclock anything. I'm very curious to see how it will perform when I overclock it to 4.3 GHz and pair it with the 1070 Ti. I'll definitely make a separate video on that if you guys are really interested to see the test results. Just let me know in the comment section. Now let's play Just Cause 3 and see how it will perform. I'm playing it at max graphics settings. Even Just Cause 3 was playing buttery smooth on this build, was easily getting around 60 frames per second on an average.
There they are! I wish we could use that tank, but it's not going anywhere!
I bet the cannon still works.
Now let's move on to Battlefield 1. As you can see, all the graphic settings are set to Ultra. Let's play the game. I just love this build. It's an ultimate 1080p gaming beast. On Battlefield 1, I was getting an average frame rate of around 80 to 90 frames per second. And not only 1080p, I've also tested the game at 1440p resolution and got an average frame rate of 65 frames per second. I was quite satisfied with the gaming performance. I just wish I had a 1070 or above coupled with the 2700X. That would have been amazing. Don't worry, I'll definitely do a build on that also very soon. So that was my video on the Ryzen 7 2700X RGB PC build. It's an ultimate 1080p gaming beast for around 1 lakh rupees. And yes, it's also good for 1440p gaming. Let me summarize all the component prices for you. The Ryzen 7 2700X will cost around 25,000 rupees. It's an excellent CPU for the price, definitely value for money. The GTX 1066GB costs 35,000 rupees. The Asus Crosshair 7 Hero X470 will cost around 20,000 rupees. I'm not sure about the price because it's not yet available in the market. The G-Skill Sniper X 16GB RAM costs 15,000 rupees. Here you can actually go with 8GB of RAM, that's enough for 1080p gaming, so you'll save about 7,000 rupees here. The Masterbox MB500 RGB PC case costs 5,500 rupees. Coming to the storage, the HyperX Fury 480GB SSD is priced for 20,000 rupees. Here also you can go with a 240GB SSD plus 1TB hard disk, that would save you another 10,000 rupees. And the Cooler Master's Masterwatt 750 power supply is priced for about 7,500. So the total cost of the PC I built comes down to 1,28,000 rupees, and the cost of the PC build I suggested comes down to 1,10,000 rupees. And for that price, you're getting an amazing RGB PC which will definitely impress you with its performance in both gaming and productivity. So that was my video on the Ryzen 7 2700X RGB build. If you guys like this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And also I'll be making more PC builds in the coming weeks. I also have to build a PC with the 2600X. Just let me know in what category you want me to make these upcoming builds and I'll try to do that for you. So that was it for today. Thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to my channel for more such awesome videos and I'll see you in the next one.